Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome to our lesson today. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. That happens. Life happens, right? So I'll give you ladies just a moment to hop on because I know usually it's like refresh to get back on. So let's see if I am live. And we get to dance. I'll tag you ladies here. It has been quite a week, ladies. Quite a week. And my Facebook is being super silly. Hold on just 1 second. Gotta love technology. It's just one of those weeks. I'm just going with the flow. Alrighty, let's. Why isn't this opening up? There we go. It's just one of those weeks. There we go. I am here. Awesome. Well, let us dive in and let the music play for a moment longer. I'm going to tag you ladies. And so today's going to be a really good deep dive lesson. And I know it's going to bring up some stuff, which is a good thing, but also can be a hard thing. So I just want to prepare you ladies. And why isn't this? Well, it's just not working. That's okay. Gotta love it. So let's get the music down. Like I said, I'm just rolling with the punches here this week. This is what happens. We ask for our next level and we ask for our growth, and sometimes it doesn't come in a pretty package. So this week it has not been a pretty package for me in the way of up-leveling and growing and deepening in the love for myself. And that's okay. Luckily, these things don't kill us. Sometimes it's painful and it's hard and it's tricky and it's frustrating sometimes, but it's all okay. So let's take a big deep breath. I'm going to recenter myself because we got a lot of really good things to talk about today. And I really want to create the love space. Okay. Hello, lovely. So our last lesson, we really talked about this place of we have these two kind of dualities that go on inside of ourselves, which is the need to protect and the need to prove ourselves. And the protection from the past wounds that we've had. Hello, multitasking at work. That's okay. If you can't comment, I'll know. I'll feel your energy here. And then you can pop in and watch the replay if you want to dive any deeper. It's so good to see you, Gina. I love it. I love seeing your bubble pop up. Makes me so happy. I love seeing all of you ladies. And if you saw too, and if you can't make it, that's totally okay. Maybe let me know if you ladies can make it on Zoom. And if you can't, then I'll just pop onto the Facebook piece. But I decided, because I love you ladies so much and I really want to connect more in just the lovely ladies in my community. And I realize, especially on Facebook, it's perfect for right here, right now, because, it's more of this teaching element and I want you to digest the information, but for our Q&A, I really wanted to do a Zoom call so I can answer questions and any questions that pop up, and not that it's a full-blown coaching session for you ladies, but just a place where we can connect and feel a sense of community and that we aren't alone. And I know, right, we have this group, which is wonderful, and gotta love the GIF off that Amy and I had last night. I love a good GIF off, and I had no idea that there were so many I can never say his name, Galifianakis GIFs, but super fun. So we get to have fun, and I want to just connect with you ladies on Zoom. So let me know. So one, if you have any questions, make sure you post in the Q&A thread. And two, just let me know if you can make it on the Zoom call. And if you can't, that's okay. Just let me know either way. And I'll record it anyways and answer the questions, but I'll probably do it on Zoom. So if anybody can pop in, then they can pop in. And if not, then it'll just be me and I'll record it and ladies can watch it later. I know, it was so funny. I literally was like laughing my butt off. Like this is when like life is amazing, when with the people in your world you can have GIF offs. So this is how I communicate a lot of the time, is GIFs. So if you post a GIF ever, it just makes me so happy. And if you find a good one that I love, it just like adds to my repertoire. It's just awesome. So I guess kind of some housekeeping. So just let me know about if you can make it onto the Zoom call or not, just so I can kind of have a heads up. And we'll probably do it for the next ones too, because it just feels good, especially because we have a nice small group. You know, if I had a ton of ladies in here, that just wouldn't work. But because there's a nice small group, then let's actually take a benefit of the smallness so we can actually connect and get deeper. And so I can be here to connect with you ladies and support you even more. And any questions that pop up too, that space is there for you as well. So anything else? Yes, and I will be, for today, I'll be recording more of the meditations. I hope you ladies have been enjoying those. And I listen to them too. And it's like, even though it's kind of weird because it's my voice, but it's actually kind of nice it's my voice. But it's nice to have those just 4 minutes to really set the intention. And one of the things that I do, I'll make my coffee in the morning. And then while my coffee is brewing, I'll sit in front of the mirror that I have in my guest bedroom, and then I'll listen to the meditation. So deeply apologize that those haven't been there the last couple of days. Just, it's been a crazy week. And if you saw on the post, there was the neighbor who was chainsawing the trees. And even earlier today, they're like chainsawing the bushes. So thankfully they're not doing it right now, but it's just is. We're just going with the flow. So luckily we don't have to do life perfectly. Past Chelsea would have freaked the F out and felt really bad, but we'll talk about that today. So I think that's it for housekeeping pieces. But of course, if you ever have any questions, let me know. So in today's lesson, I really want to go even deeper into the places of, right, those need to protect and the need to prove ourselves. And I love seeing your homework. So you posted the homework of, the burning that happened, or maybe there was a toilet situation where you wrote on the toilet paper and released some of these negative beliefs that we hold inside of ourselves about who we should be and how we're expected to be and told to live in the rule book of life that we were handed, that we're like, well, maybe I don't even like this rule book. This doesn't really fit for me. So it's really nice to clean out that energy. And I wish I could say and promise you that that's going to just completely clean out those negative beliefs and have them be done forever. Like, wouldn't that be absolutely amazing? But this is part of the self-love journey, is continuously releasing what no longer serves us so we can open in and fill in and experience the love that is already inside of us. So that's why I wanted you ladies to do that second piece, which I love seeing. And, the sun, that was something that was suggested in one of the programs that I was in, and I did it and I freaking loved it. And especially because I talk about we are the center of our solar system, and we are the sun, and the sun shining. And so having that be in alignment with our soul self and our soul sun, just yummy goodiness that we feel about ourselves, just having that written down and easily accessible. And and you can add to it, and you can, sometimes just finding different feeling words that feel really more connected to you. You can change it up whenever you want to, of what aligns with your soul self, of what actually is true for you. So this is where I wanted that dichotomy of, okay, these are all the beliefs of how I'm supposed to be, which is not true unless it aligns for me. And then here's these beliefs of actually what is true, because it's from my soul, that says I'm magnificent and I'm kind and I'm sexy and I'm beautiful and I'm smart and I'm impactful and I'm whatever the words that come in for you ladies. And this is the truth of the love inside of us. The love that we have exists right in here. Like, it's kind of crazy sometimes if we really slow down and think about it, that what we seek is actually already inside of us. Always has been, always will, and always will be inside of us, right here. Because our soul self is always inside of us. And if our soul self is already inside of us, and our soul holds all the abundance of love and amazingness of who we actually are in the truth, then this is why soul alignment is so important, is because when we align with our soul self and the truth of our soul self or highest self, whatever you align with in the word and the verbiage that you use, that is the axis of the love. But again, wouldn't it be so nice if it was so easy, if we could just hose out all of the old negative beliefs and always 100% access all those amazing things that you ladies wrote down in your last week's homework about who you actually are and the truth of who you are and your worthiness and your amazingness, that you are valuable and worthy and amazing and lovely and sexy and impactful and just all the yummy things already, and that it doesn't need to be proved. But we have the past that impacts us as humans, and we have the past that shows that, well, is this really the case? This is what I call those protectors inside of us that call, excuse my language, bullshit on what you wrote down for your soul beliefs for you. There are parts inside of you, and I put that as that caveat in the homework, that there might be parts of you that as you're writing it down that start to kind of like raise their hand and go, really? Are you sure that you're sexy? Because actually you have gained 20 pounds and actually you're wearing sweatpants right now, which I actually am. And actually these are all the reasons that you're not sexy. In order to be sexy, you have to do X, Y, Z, right? This is in order to those beliefs that we wrote down that really do not serve us, that we have to prove ourselves of what is actually already the truth inside of ourselves. But we want to be aware of these parts inside of us. And I would say this is one of the hugest key pieces of what allows us to access the love inside of ourselves or not. And I call it this place of hide and seek that we actually play with our soul self. Because again, our soul knows, it's like the safe base that we have. Did you ever play that game as a kid where, was it tag, where you played tag and people all like, the kids are all running around and maybe it's like capture the flag and that kind of stuff too. That was a different variation of the game, but you're like running around, but then something was base, which meant something was safe, that no one could touch you at that place, that's the place where you could actually take a breath and breathe and regroup yourself and then go back out and, run and do whatever the crazy heck you're doing as kids, as we did, right? This is what our soul self is. It is like our home base of life. It is home base. This is why I have in this program, in that place where it said, come back home to you. It's because the home of love lives inside of you, and that home base is that soul center inside of yourself that holds the love and the warmness. It's like the warm cookies that get to be heated up in the ovens. Like your soul's like, come. This is where love is. Come and rest, come and relax, come and know the truth of who you are. And we want to keep coming back to this place, but we get distracted. Because we feel like, and this is the human experience, we feel like that the truth of all that isn't actually true, and that the truth of who we are and the love of what we're seeking is external. It's the external validation piece. So this is, as we talked about before, we're trying to prove that we are lovable and worthy and all the nuances of the words, and we're protecting ourselves. So our prove-its and protectors that we have, they kind of go hand in hand. So I want to kind of dive into this. And I know I've talked about this before if you've been in my world a while, but this journey never stops. That even this week, as I've been triggered up the wazoo because I asked for some emotional opening, that I'm learning even more deeper layers of the pieces inside of myself, which means I get to access more of my soul self each and every time. And it's the same thing for you. So we want to see and identify what parts of you try to distract you from coming back home to you and coming to this place inside of you. And the way we want to look at it, so let me backtrack a moment, is that place of home base that you have inside of yourself, which is your soul self, which is, right, the truth of who you are, the safety, that everything is okay. Your soul says everything is okay, and you are loved, like 100% loved, always have been, always are, and always will be loved. So this is what resides inside of you, and this is what is called secure attachment with self. We want to have a secure attachment with ourself, a secure attachment meaning that when we turn to ourself, that we feel safe and loved, and that there's space for ourselves, and that we can turn to ourselves for the truth of who we actually are. That this is the home base. Secure attachment with yourself is that you are home base always. And that you can turn to yourself for the validation that you seek, that you can turn to yourself for the reassurance of love, that you can turn to yourself for that, am I sexy? Of course you're sexy. Right? This gets, right, in partnership, in previous programs that I've talked about, in partnership, we get to kind of have this additional reassurance if we have a partner, but we don't want to turn to others for the only source of this validation, because if that's the only source, which we'll get to in a moment, then our sense of self lives in other people, and we don't want our sense of self to live in other people. We want our sense of self to live inside of ourselves, because it does. And if we try to not have it be there, it's denying the truth that's already inside of ourselves. So when we have that secure attachment with ourselves, this is what that self-love is. That we can access, that when there's a question inside of ourselves of, am I smart? That we can turn to our soul self, and our soul is like, of course you are. Of course, you are so smart. You are so amazing. And if we doubt if we're beautiful, that we can turn to our soul self to say, wait, am I beautiful? I'm not thinking I'm beautiful today. Am I beautiful? When we turn to our soul self, our soul is going to always say, of course you are. You always have been beautiful. You are beautiful, and you always will be beautiful. This does not have to be proved, right? Anything that we doubt, we get to turn to ourselves, and in that secure attachment place, we know we are going to get what it is that we're seeking. It's always there, always, always, always there. But the thing is, we cover that up, and we don't access our internal home, our soul self, our home base, all the language that you want to use. It when we don't turn to ourselves and we turn externally to other people, that's where we get led astray. What's the word? Astray. That's the word. Astray. I'm going to have to look that up to see if that's actually a word. We get led astray from ourselves, because we got told those negative beliefs of who we need to be and who we're supposed to be in order to have the truth that already lives inside of ourselves. This is huge for me to be able to do without my mom. She has always reassured me. Now I have to do it for myself. So we talked about this in the soul support lesson this last week too. And as little kids, and we talked a little bit about this before, but as little kids, right, we learn about our sense of reassurance and self from our parents. That's what they're meant to be. Is our parents are meant to be our mentors into learning about how to feel love inside of ourselves and feel safety inside of ourselves, to feel like we are enough and that we matter. And it's beautiful and wonderful when we have gotten that from our parents. And I know, Gina, you had said before, right, that is something that your mom did provide, which is so beautiful and so wonderful. But we want to create this, and this is something that either our parents do, and we got to say, bless our parents, they only knew what they knew, right? Nobody teaches us this stuff, really, and especially back in the day, especially because it was very masculine-driven type of society and still is, and this is what we want to break through, which is being our feminine, powerful self, where emotions and connection is actually really valuable. But the generation before and the generation before and before, emotions, like, no. Connection, no, unless it served a purpose, right? There was all the protections up the wazoo, and healing within ourselves, no, that didn't really happen. Going to things like this, I know internet back in the day didn't actually exist, but going to therapy, those kind of things was a big NO, you only sought help unless something was really wrong. So there's this big taboo, right? Which is a whole nother topic we could go on. But growing up, we learn if it was the ideal world, we would have learned from our parents that it's safe to seek reassurance in others, that there is a secure connection with others, and that there's a secure connection with ourselves, that the sense of reassurance doesn't just live in mom, but it also lives inside of us. That doesn't just live in dad, it also lives inside of us. So that we want this duality of security, that we are secure inside of ourselves and we're secure with the connection with others. But a lot of us don't get that. We might get, okay, we have got the reassurance from mom, as you said, Gina, but not maybe, how do I reassure myself? How do I navigate when who I'm trying to seek reassurance from isn't available or isn't able to provide that for me? And this is one of the things, the big triggers that happened for me this last week, and this will go in even to a future lesson. So I go through these things so I can teach them too, and I'm not immune to the stuff. But I had put something out there on Facebook that my mom was not happy about, not happy at all. And holy cow, this is when we learn those internal wounds that happen, and that fear of, am I not enough, and that fear of abandonment that comes in, that my inner child was freaking the F out. Like I was okay because I've done a lot of work, but I could feel it. There was it's almost like the little girl in me was like, what? What is happening? Because my mom wasn't happy. And because we have connections with our parents, and that sense of safety lives in our parents. If we only feel the sense of safety within our parents, then especially when they're no longer there or no longer able to give us that sense of reassurance, we have to learn how to give it to ourselves. We have to. Because otherwise what happens is protectors start popping in, which we'll get into in just a moment. So that reassurance, those were moments, Gina, this last weekend of accessing my soul self, up the wazoo. That this is where those things like the soul support, so I'm really was helping myself feel good and feel okay being in that emotion, and constantly turning to my soul self of, I'm okay, this is going to be okay, I'm okay. Right? If my inner child was running the show, it would feel like, we're not okay. Like death is going to happen to us, death upon us, right? And the world is here. No. This is why turning to ourselves, not to never ever turn to others. So I want to be very clear that self-love isn't that we only seek love inside of ourselves, but it's that we always can seek love inside of ourselves and have that secure connection with others. So it becomes, is learning to reassure yourself that even in the absence of somebody else giving you that reassurance, like mom or dad or a partner or whoever, that it's still right in here. This happens a lot too for online entrepreneurs of, nobody's liking my post, or nobody's doing this, nobody's commenting, nobody's doing this. But that is also seeking the external reassurance, the external validation. And in the absence of that, can we turn to ourselves to remind ourselves that we are loved, that we matter, that we are beautiful, and even, especially if a parent was really wonderful and reassuring, you can access mom. What would my mom say to me in this moment? If she was someone that was always reassuring to you, which is so beautiful and so wonderful. I love your mom already. She's amazing. I'm sure she still looks down on you. That it's, what would my mom say about this situation? What would my mom say about this doubt and this thought that's in my mind when I'm doubting how beautiful I am? Would my mom, if she was a reassuring person, would my mom say, no, sweetie, you are of course beautiful. You can access that same reassurance as you're building it inside of yourself and accessing it inside of yourself, if that makes sense. Which, again, it takes practice. This takes a lot of practice. So what happens, though, as I have said, is the external validation. So if we don't go to ourselves to get that reassurance, and if we keep trying, so then if we don't seek it inside ourselves, we actually go, so that's the secure attachment, we can go into the anxious attachment place in others. This is the external validation. I need to I need to keep messaging my mom to make sure she still loves me. I need to make sure I have those likes and comments on everything to make sure she still loves me. I need to, yes, it does. I'm so glad. I need to do right XYZ in order to feel okay in me. I need to do XYZ in order to feel okay in me. But if we are already okay, we don't need to do those things. But I want you to be really aware of what your flavor of avoidance of you and turning to you and reassuring you and what the truth is inside of you in your soul self. What is your flavor of avoiding that? Because we all have it. We all have it. What is your flavor of trying to prove yourself in order to get what is actually already accessible inside of you? For me, these are the protectors. These are the protectors inside of yourself that we go into all these different ways of trying to prove ourselves. And so this is the anxious attachment type of place. And also we go into what's called avoidant attachment, which is we completely avoid any emotion, anything. And it's all kind of, honestly, the anxious attachment turns out to be avoidance of self, because if we're focused on trying to be perfect, or in my case, a lot of the time is like people pleaser, trying to please this other person. So like in that example with my mom, trying to please her, there was an urge to do that. But by doing that, we abandon ourselves. By trying to get external validation in others and get reassurance in others and to feel a sense of okayness in others and feel a sense of safety just from others, then our sense of self in this world lives in other people. Woo, we do not want to do that. Do not. Oh yes, I have walls, but working on it. So what are the walls? Have you identified what the walls are that block you from? And this is, so the push-pull that we have inside of ourselves, especially if we do have a push-pull, it is actually a trauma response. That we try to get the external validation, and if we don't get it, then we go and numb ourselves out because we don't know what to do with this emotion that's inside of ourselves. And we disconnect from ourselves. And trauma being, big or small, and I put that in quotes because I never ever want to feel like there's a diminishing of experiences. And like we talked about before, that it can be, an experience of you felt abandoned in the grocery store because, it felt like ages, right, where mom was in another aisle and you couldn't find her. That can be a traumatic experience. So it can be in all sorts of different ways, but we have, right? And it can be big, right? Loss of somebody. It can be, somebody hurt and shamed us, judged us, all these different things. So we go into, all right, how can I prove that I am loved? My flavors: people pleasing, perfectionist, overachieving, which then actually kind of goes in the numbing. So these all go in certain different, or all kind of overlap with each other. But right? So people pleasing is my sense of self would live in other people. That if I make you happy, therefore I'm okay. If I'm perfect, and therefore you see me as perfect, and you're going to approve of me, and therefore I'm okay. Right? So we do this. So many of us do this. I'm going to please you to be okay. I'm going to be perfect to be okay. Right? Those really are actually the biggest ones that I would do. Got to be perfect, got to please. Got to be perfect, got to be pleased. And also to prove our worth as well, that happens is that overachiever part of us that comes in and tries to do all the things. Do. This is like the masculine energy gone awry. All of these are masculine energies. The protections inside of you, people pleaser, masculine energy. Perfectionist, masculine energy. Overachiever, masculine energy. But a wounded masculine energy, because it's this place, masculine and feminine, but it pops in of we have to do these things, do in order to get something. I have to do by pleasing in order to get the feeling of okay. I have to do the perfectionism in order to get the feeling of okay. I have to do all the things in order to feel a sense of validation, and therefore I'm okay. Right? This is a doing energy, which is then really exhausting. This is where anxiety comes in, because it literally is like a circus that starts running around inside of ourselves. And this is when your protectors start leading the show, right? And not your soul self, as we talked about. So if your perfectionist is leading the show, things are not going to go so well. If your people pleaser is leading the show, it's not going to go so well. If your overachiever is leading the show, not going to go so well. Because you keep abandoning yourself when we do this. And then anxiety gets created and exhaustion gets created, and then we go into shutdown mode. This is where all the avoidance starts to come in, right? We numb out. We don't go into the feelings that we're feeling at all. It has and I can feel it. I remember, when was this? This was a while ago. I was watching Sex in the City, and this is when I had my ectopic pregnancy that happened last year, and there's still emotions, big emotions that were there, and I was watching Sex in the City, and this scene where Miranda decides to keep her baby, and it's like the baby stuff, and it triggered that emotion, and I could feel the part of me that knows what to do with that emotion, which is oh, let's just push that down and not feel that right now, because that feels like crap and we don't want to feel this, we don't like this, whoa, this doesn't feel good, so pushing it down. But I could feel as this lid starting to come inside my body. This is what comes with ongoing awareness. And then I was like, no, I don't want to numb myself out. We want to feel those emotions and move those through. Used to be a workaholic to avoid. Yeah, I get it. This is it avoids ourselves. It literally serves double function. Not only, because if you're, the workaholic, I called it the busy bee inside of me. It's the busy bee. I got to do. So not only does this conveniently kind of validate ourselves in other people's eyes, whoa, look at this gal getting everything done, and wow, she's doing all the things. We get that sense of validation from the doing and the feel like we're actually valuable in this world. So it serves that purpose. And it also conveniently serves the purpose of we don't have to feel our emotions. How nice is that? Because if we're in, to use your word, the workaholic and the do and the go, and there's busyness, guess what there is no space for? Emotions. There's no space for emotions in that. Because the minute you slow down and the minute you pause, that's when the emotions start coming up. And if you don't know what to do with those emotions, then we avoid again, and we go into those protectors again. Ooh, I'm going to go back into the busy again. And it becomes this vicious cycle inside of ourselves. Or, this is, again, it's the avoidance of self, which is the avoidance of the emotion, which means the avoidance of, as we talked about before, the pain that's inside of ourselves that we didn't process through, right? The pain, and it comes and it covers it up and avoids, and also serves this purpose of fake, proving our worth in this world. It's like pseudo worth. It's like cameo worth and value. And it's not real value, right? Exactly. Yes. So it's exhausting. But part of this, so you want to know mine even still. So I have still people pleaser. And this is a thing that these parts inside of ourselves, thank goodness for them. Thank goodness. So this is something that we can feel so much frustration and anger and what is that word? Exacerbation. I always want to say masturbation. Exacerbation. Just being exhausted with these parts of ourselves of why is this jumping in? Why is this part of me? So say the workaholic part of you, I'm sure is still in there. And it's when you notice it pop in, it's why is this part of me still popping in? When my people pleaser comes in, I could easily go into self-frustration, which we don't want to do. That perpetuates the cycle of judging and being mad at ourselves, even the parts of ourselves that we don't want to lead the show. Because we don't want the workaholic to lead the show. We don't want the people pleaser to lead the show. We don't want the numbing out to lead the show. And there's so many different flavors of numbing out, of self-avoidance, right? Again, people pleaser, overachiever. Busy, right? Workaholic. The perfectionist. The numbing out, just internally shutting down. Alcohol, food, working out a ton, Netflix, scrolling, overthinking. Overthinking is also a place where we avoid ourselves because we get trapped in this overthinking loop, which means conveniently we don't have to go into the emotions and we're trying to control things. And this is what all these parts of us try to do, is trying to control, protect, and make sure that you are okay. But remember, we are already okay. And if we're already okay, then we can allow these emotions to come through little bit by little bit, though. So we don't want to just open the valve and like do a tsunami on top of ourselves, but we want to open. And even if we have the tsunami on top of ourselves, we're going to make it through, because that's what emotions do. They always flow through. But we want to really identify what is my sense of trying to prove myself, trying to have a sense of control. Where do I avoid myself? What pulls the attention away from myself, from accessing what is already truth inside of myself? But we have to go into the emotions. It's almost like our soul self is on the other side of the tunnel of the emotions that we are avoiding. So if we avoid our emotions, we're avoiding our soul self, which means we're avoiding the truth of love that is already inside of ourselves. So in order to access that, we have to let our protectors stand down, as I like to call it. It's like this army that we have inside of ourselves. It's like, no, I don't want to do it that way anymore. I had to as a kid. And this is where, as I was saying, we can feel so much frustration at these parts of ourselves that pop in. But they had to be there for you. They had to be there for you in order for you to survive at whatever age it is that this part of you got birthed into existence. The workaholic part of you, Gina, was there for a reason, was needed at a time that you needed it. And it was needed as a time when emotions were big and you didn't know what to do with them. That's exactly what these parts of us do. The people pleaser inside of me knew exactly what to do when no one else came to my rescue. When no one else came to my rescue, a part inside of me said, I got this. I got you, Chelsea. I'm here to protect you. When no one else is here to do so, I got you. I got you, boo, is basically what these parts inside of us do. And they served a purpose for a time. I was telling a client the other day that she was the first client that I'd ever had way back in the day when I was in my therapy land, and it was in my internship that I was doing. It was like the very first client I had. I'll never forget her. And she told me my energy had to go somewhere. Exactly. Yes. And you did what you had to do. This is what we do. We do what we had to do at the time that it's needed, but we get to decide if it's no longer needed. So this one client I had, she was so frustrated because she had these hoarding tendencies. That her home that she had, she's like, I have like things everywhere. There's boxes everywhere. I don't get it. I don't know why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? And she was just this is what happens when we don't understand why, and it's there and we don't want it to be there. We can get frustrated, but we don't want to be compounding the frustration inside of ourselves. We want to be gentle and compassionate and understand that, there's always a reason of protection inside of myself, and trying to prove which is protection. Because if we prove that we're loved and we're enough, then therefore we're part of the whole pack. Therefore we're protected and we're safe. So it all goes back to protection. Always goes back to protection. So for her, she's like, why do I have these boxes everywhere? Why do I have everything everywhere? And I try to want to get myself to clean this, and it's just not. And I feel like I'm a hoarder and I hate this. And she was just so much frustration. So I'm pretty proud of past Chelsea. She knew what was up. And I asked her, what is the benefit of this part of you that's stacking up all these boxes, that is creating so much clutter in your house that there's no space for you? What do you think the benefit of this is? And her mind's like, well, there's no benefit to this because it's frustrating and I don't want this. I don't want this anymore. It's getting in the way of my life. It's making things really frustrating, and it's making it more complicated, and excuse me, I don't want this anymore. I was like, yes, I get that. And what has been the benefit? Even if you're not wanting this benefit anymore, even if it's no longer serving you, what was the benefit of this? And I helped her to see she had a very abusive husband in the past, very abusive. And they ended up getting divorced and all that process. And yet she started to do the hoarding while she was in that relationship. And I told her, it's like, of course you are hoarding. This is one of your protection strategies that you created, right? An actual physical wall for yourself to protect yourself from what was happening to you, to try to create the sense of safety for you. That even, as I said, right, no space for you, you didn't want space for you because you were trying to hide, you were trying to cover yourself. Like, thank goodness for this, because it helped protect you, because it actually prevented him from sometimes coming into the house because there was so much stuff that was there. Like, it actually physically protected her. And this is a very big extreme case of that, but it really highlights that there was a benefit for her. And it created a sense of emotional safety for her in a place where she didn't feel any sense of emotional safety. She created it for herself. This is how brilliant our internal system is. It is so brilliant, so fascinating, that when we don't feel a sense of safety or a sense of love or a sense of belonging, that we create it inside of ourselves, but we create those things inside of ourselves in a traumatic time or when we're like 6 years old. So basically it's like our 6-year-old self. Like, most of my protection strategies got created when I was like 6 years old. And usually if something bigger happened down the line when maybe your 20s or 30s, it actually stems back from something that happened to you when you were a lot younger. That was painful and didn't feel a sense of safety and didn't feel like there was space for your emotions and it didn't feel okay. So part of you jumped in and was like, I know what to do. I know what to do. I don't know what to do. Let me protect. Let me shut down emotions. Let me try to please all the people. Let me try to get the straight A's in school so I actually don't ruffle any feathers at home, because maybe you see mom and dad fighting all the time, or maybe you see, your sibling is always getting in trouble and you don't want to get in trouble. So let's just do all the things to not get in trouble, and let's be perfect in order to not get in trouble and to feel that, because we don't want to feel that. So our system is so creative, as creative as it can be at the time that this protection was created for you. So we have to look at what was the benefit of this protector inside of you. Protectors, there's plural, there's always plural. I have a part of me that wants to, people please, wants to overachieve, wants to be perfect. And then to help shut me down, also, when those don't work, I have a part of me that wants to reach to food. Sometimes I've worked really hard on that. Like, I would turn to like mac and cheese. I remember once where I was going through such a big emotional piece when somebody was trying to attack my license as a therapist when I was practicing more therapy. And it was such a big, huge thing. I'm like, why is this woman attacking me? I'm not doing anything. I felt helpless. I didn't know how to fix it. I felt so like, and I went to Noodles to try to get mac and cheese. And literally on the drive home, I pulled over and threw out the mac and cheese, which was so freaking uncomfortable. But that is your soul self taking charge of, we don't need this anymore to protect. We don't need to eat the food anymore to protect, to make the emotion go away. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it sucks. But in order to move through and to be your strongest self and most powerful self and your adult self and your access of your soul self, is you got to go through those emotions. Even if it's little bit by little bit by little bit. I would also turn to alcohol. Alcohol was such an amazing thing because it allows you to feel really nice and wonderful and helps numb things out at the same time. But it also makes you feel like shit the next day. So that's not fun. Usually these things don't really help in the long run. They just help actually not usually, 100%. They never help in the long run. They only go in at that exact moment. Oh, you're feeling emotion? Let me jump in with this. Oh, you're feeling unloved? Let me jump in with this. Oh, you're feeling a panic? Let me jump in with this. They're immediate responsors. It's literally like the, what are those called? Fire response. It's like the immediate fire response that comes in. Yes, me too with food. Yes. Because what this does, so food, creates this immediate satisfaction. It covers that emotion immediately and makes it feel a lot better, right? Especially if there's sugar involved and it's all yummy and it's like, I get to focus on the feeling of food inside of me and the process of eating and the immediate gratification of it being in my body. Okay, thank God that emotion's not there. Thank goodness that emotion isn't there. Ooh, but the long-term impact, right? The long-term impact is continuous avoidance of self. Continuous avoidance of self. And this actually builds in, this is something that our bodies do, is we build weight inside of ourselves also as a form of protection. Because if your physical body actually is a little bit bigger, then that creates distance from you in your heart and other people. It's a form of protection as well, not only just in the moment, but ongoing. Is how convenient is this that I get to protect myself with all this weight that's on my body. This is what happens. And it's also a comfort place. Yes, yep, instant gratification. So this is the process of, and I know, and I get it. I've done like all the things. Back in the day too, one of my defense strategies as well is to get external validation and to hide from the emotions that I was doing. This is when cheating happened for me back in the day. Because it was like, I don't want to address all this over here, but I want to go feel over here. So what happens is we look to the places where we get to feel good in the moment, even if it's self-destructive. Very self-destructive, those things in the past. But we want to look at what is the benefit that is happening here. What is the benefit? Okay, eating. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to this part of me that would reach for food. Because I had such big emotions at this time. I didn't know what to do with them. I had so much doubt inside of myself. I had so much, questions about my worth and my value and who I am. And it created all these emotions and I didn't know what to do with them because I didn't know how to turn to my soul self that has all the pure love and abundance of love inside of me. I didn't know how to do that back then. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Part of me that would turn to food because that is what I needed to protect me at that time because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any other way. Thank you. We want to thank these parts inside of ourselves, and I know it's kind of hard to do, especially if it's still active inside of ourselves. And again, these parts of us don't ever go away. They just lessen their lead. This is why being in soul alignment and in charge within your soul self can you be, and a new identity that I'm really creating and playing around with is accessing our inner soul queen inside of ourselves. And if you think of a queen, she's in charge. She is in command. And she does not apologize for that. She is in her power and doesn't apologize for that. She steps up and she takes charge, but from a very feminine way. One of the things that she gets to do, this part in you, your soul self, is she tells the part of you that wants to turn to food for that immediate satisfaction to say, no, stand down. Stand down. She can handle it now. She's no longer a kid. She's no longer in the depths of that pain right now. She can handle it now. Let her handle it. Let her move through. Let her be the most powerful version of herself. So stand down, because this is where your power gets to come from. The more you stand in charge. And I had to do that this weekend with my people pleaser. What's the word? My words are escaping me today. My people pleaser tried to sneak in a little piece on the side and did send one text to my mom, but I had to over and over just stand down. I got this. Stand down. I got this. I'm okay. Stand down. I got this. My soul queen was like, no, people pleaser. Put down. Sit down. It's like, what is that? Arnold Schwarzenegger, sit down. I cannot do that. I'm not going to try that again. But it's like down. So this is where self-love really comes in, is can I, in this moment where my protectors want to jump in and protect me, can I slow this down enough to say, no, I am choosing to be more building of my strongest self. I'm choosing to be more strengthening of my inner soul queen. I am choosing to be the adult in this situation, to say it's okay. We got this. I got this. And it is hard AF. I'm not going to lie to you. This process is hard. This is why so many people don't do this. It is so much easier to live from the reactions of our past protectors. It is so easy because we don't have to think about it. It literally is your subconscious reactive protective system that has been in operation since you were X years old. Most of my protectors in operation since I was like 6 years old. How old do you think you were when your protectors really started kind of popping in, reporting for duty? We got you, boop, right? They're like armies. They're like, got you, right? We got it. But they jump in and then they're like all over the place and nobody's leading them. They're just protectors, but they don't have a command center. They're just kind of run amok is what happens. That's where the soul queen comes in. She's in command and the protectors stand down, but it takes practice to do that. But for me, 6 years old is when most of mine were created. This is when my parents first divorced and everything else happened after that. Everything else compounds, right? You are so right. The road less traveled, 100%. Because this shit is hard. It is so much easier to jump in the people pleasing. It is so much easier to get into busy mode and avoid all those emotions. Clean the house, do all the things, do all the work, cross things off the to-do list, and you feel like all accomplished and it's all amazing, but you haven't processed through the emotion that you're feeling, right? And then you realize you like take one moment to sit on the couch, but then you pause for a moment, but then all the emotions come up and you're like, I can't rest, I can't sit down, I got to do all the things, right? Exhaustion. And, right, so much easier to do that. So much easier to reach for the food. So much easier to reach for the glass of wine. So much easier to turn on the Netflix. It is so much easier to shut down and numb out. It is so much easier to go into our overthinking mind and like literally like masturbate our mind with all these overthinking thoughts, trying to control everything. It is so much easier to do that because literally you have been doing that for years. 4 years. It's like if you think of, something that you do on autopilot, it's the autopilot system inside of you. So what do you do on autopilot? So many people talk about like actual autopilot, when you drive your car and maybe you would go from work to home or grocery store to home or wherever it is. It's like you don't even have to think about where home is. You all this, like, especially if you're lost in thought, you're like, how did I even... Shoot, I hope I was going the speed limit because I wasn't even paying attention because it's so much easier to not pay attention. So much easier to do what we've always done. But if we do what we always done, right, definition of insanity, good old Einstein says, then we're going to get what we always got. But I know by you being here in my world, you are wanting something more. You are wanting something better. You don't want to keep doing what you've always done. But we have to understand why it was done. Give compassion and love to our protectors because they are still part of your protection team. We want them to be there. Like, are you kidding me? We want them to be there. We don't want them to be disappeared. So many of us, yes, to numb out. It's so much easier to do that, right? So much easier. And I'm not going to lie to you. There are still times when I don't take the reins and I don't take charge and one of my protectors leads the show instead of me and leads me away from myself and then I abandon myself, which is not self-love, it's just self-protection, which we would think is self-love, but it's not. It's not. It's self-preservation, not self-love. So it's so much easier to do those things, but to slow it down and to choose something different, even if there are times, I'll tell you, that when my soul self is leading the charge, my inner soul queen, there are times when there are parts of myself that are like throwing a temper tantrum. Literally. Like there's a while ago, I've used this story before, but I remember when I was trying to get back into the health and the working out, and this is really in alignment with who I really want to be and who I want to become, is someone who is really healthy. And so I remember one day I was like going downstairs. We have a split level house and my husband, he works downstairs in the basement, although it's like split level, so it's not really basement. But went down And I'm like literally throwing a temper tantrum. I'm like stomping and I'm like, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna. That's totally a childhood response. I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna. But this is when it's like, breathe, breathe. What would the future me do in this situation? What would the version of me who already is in soul command, who is already leading with her soul self, who is already having that secure attachment with self, what would she be doing? What would the soul queen in me do? What would, right? Whatever what woulds you want to say. And that's what leads the way for me. Not all the time because I'm human, but this is where my compass goes in. This is what the love is for you, is choosing not the self-preservation, but choosing the self-growth, the self-expansion, the stepping into your power and love. Because the more you do that, the more love is accessible to you. The more you lead with your soul self, the more love is there. Because seriously, this part of you she's like dripping in love. Like she like carries love, like sparkles and glitter, and like her dress is like made of love. Like it's just love. She's pure love. So the more you access this part of you, the more love you're going to feel, the more expansive you're going to feel, the more powerful you're going to feel, the more amazing you're going to feel, the more worthy you're going to feel, all the beautiful things. But it does take some work. It takes the work to get there. And this is why so much of the population doesn't do it, because like I said, autopilot, and to just do what we've always done, we don't have to think about it. We don't have to choose the hard way. We don't have to go and take command and tell our protectors to stand down. That takes awareness. It takes slowing down. But that process of slowing down and choosing the growth path, choosing the expansion path, choosing the alignment of who you want to be, right? Do I want to be the person who goes to food every single time? That's not in alignment with our amazing, expansive, loving selves. So maybe the next time, can I just notice? So this is where we notice the triggers inside of ourselves. And I know this is deep stuff, right? This is why I said this is not just all about bubble baths and getting our nails done, although that's a piece, right? We have to go into the deeper places so we can open our soul self. So when we do the bubble baths, when we do get our nails done, when we do buy ourselves something yummy, it actually can access ourselves. Otherwise, we're just putting all the shields up and it doesn't actually sink into ourselves. Because when we protect ourselves, then love can't go through, in or out. They can't go in or out. It's like a closed door situation, which we don't want to have happen. So, slowing down and being in awareness of yourself, noticing your triggers, what triggers you, what part of you tries to come in to protect you. This is the biggest thing. And then choosing the soul queen path, choosing the future you path, choosing the soul self path. These pieces are huge, right? Notice the trigger. Notice the protector reporting for duty. I'm here. I got it. Right? They're going to jump in. They're going to jump in. And then you step in. When your protector jumps in, you step in. The real you, the adult you, the one who knows everything is going to be okay. This takes time and practice. It does. And I really want you ladies, and I do this, this is literally what my life is expanding, because those triggers are going to keep popping in. Because again, like I said, those protectors, we want them to be there, just not in charge. Because the part of me that does things, like the busy bee side of me, I totally want that part of me. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a total bum sitting on the couch all the time. Right? So I want that part of me to get shit done, but I don't want that part of me to be like the Energizer Bunny and doing it all the time and just, reporting for duty 24/7. It's like, go take a nap. Go to sleep. Go take a nap, right? It's okay. I got this. So we want to be able to activate those parts of ourselves. And there are times when I want to be kind, right? I'm a caring and loving person, but I don't want to go so far into the people-pleasing place where I actually then abandon myself. We can be kind to others and also not abandon ourselves at the same time. So it's finding this balance with these parts inside of ourselves, which does take the time and awareness. And I would strongly suggest start writing some of these things down in your journal. And you'll notice some of the things that really start to come in. Oh, another one is anger as well. Anger is also a protection strategy as well. Anger pops in. There's so many different ways, and we just want to be aware. Be aware of what protectors jump in for you that then cause avoidance of you, which then is not self-love of self, right? This just doesn't happen, because then, right, all of those parts of you that try to do that, that's not where love lives. And they also pop in when you try to convince yourself of, or not convince yourself, but remind yourself of how amazing you are. So something I said like at the very beginning is, if you look in the mirror and it's like your soul self is trying to tell you, oh my gosh, you are so beautiful, you are so amazing, you are so sexy. Perfectionist side is probably going to come in and go, that's a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS, because you're not this size and you're not this and you haven't done this yet. That's the practice where you go, oh, thank you so much for trying to protect me. Thank you so much for trying to make sure that I'm perfect in order to feel loved and valued and approved of in this world. But guess what? I'm already loved and valued and approved of, because I do that. That's the secure attachment. So you bring it back to self, back to self, back to self. And you'll see these parts of you pop in, and trying to take charge and trying to take command. But the more you take charge and you get into the kind of the seat of that secure self, the less those parts of you are actually going to jump in. Because then they realize that, okay, I don't have to jump in anymore. Okay, maybe I don't have to jump in as much because she's got it. She's got this. She's got this. So it's reminding yourself that I got this. So what I want you to do for your homework, ladies, is just be aware of those triggers. Write them down if they come up, and just write down and be aware of what part of me is trying to come in to protect me. And if my soul self was in command, what would she say? What would she have me do right now? Right? Do I need to worry about this? Do I need to overthink this? Do I need to be perfect in this? No, I don't actually need to be. Oh, she would actually be saying this. So it's just being aware of that internal system. This is where self-love comes in. When you are knowing and loving yourself and slowing yourself down enough and being in that awareness so that you could access the love inside of you, that's the self-love, not just the bubble bath stuff. It's to not let your internal protectors come in and say, I got this, when really they don't actually got it. They're actually just making things worse right now. They were really helpful back in the day, but they're just making things worse right now. So it's like, let's just stand down, buddy. And I want you to, so just being aware of those pieces, writing down the triggers, what protection part of you is trying to come in, if you can be aware. And even if, so I just want to say this too, even if you don't choose the love path in that moment, just being aware of it is so key, right? Maybe it's, I got, triggered for something, or I'm sad about something, or I'm mad about something, and something got triggered. And usually I want to turn to food right now. Even if you still turn to food in that moment, the slowing down of it and just being aware of, oh yeah, I got triggered. And oh yeah, my protector, look at my protectors here right now. I'm not yet able to slow this down right now to not go down that path and instead go down the love path. But I'm just noticing this. The more we notice it, the more we actually get to slow it down, and it's going to get better and better each time. But this is where we have to be okay with being aware of it without being judging and critical of ourselves. This is the key piece. So we don't want to go into, oh, I got triggered. Like even boredom can be one where we can be bored and there's not a lot going on, and then we turn to stuff, right? Maybe it's I'm bored and I could see myself turning to food, or I'm bored and I could see myself turning to Netflix, or I'm bored and I could see myself turning to, scrolling through social media. Even if you end up still scrolling through social media, can you notice what it is that you're doing? Can you be kind of an observer of the situation from a compassionate place, from just an observing place, not a judging place, not, oh my God, I did it again. Look at this. I got triggered and I did it again. I turned to food again. I turned to Netflix again. I turned to anger again. I turned to numbing down again. I turned to people pleasing again. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Why do I keep doing this? We don't want to go there. Breathe. breathe. Notice. Just notice. Because your soul self, it's your soul self noticing and just seeing this happening. And a little bit slow. She's trying to slow it down a little bit more so she can step in. Because right now the protectors, they're so in charge right now. But she's just slowing it down. Each time you slow it down, you're slowing it down. Notice how you're slowing it down. Notice that's like, oh, ooh, this time I actually was able to kind of hold for like 5 minutes before I then turned to Netflix. That's huge. That's like freaking huge. Like that gets to be a celebration. We'll talk about celebrations in a future lesson, but that gets to be a celebration because you just being aware of your internal patterns, that is love. That awareness is love because so many of us don't do that. So many, right? Avoid and numb out and don't choose this pathway. So be gentle on yourself as you are choosing this pathway of love. The pathway of love, even though it's so amazing and wonderful and beautiful, just as you are, getting onto this pathway and clearing it out. It's like, you know, the grass and like the machetes, how they have to like kind of clear it out. It's going to take some time to clear the pathway so that you can go down it a lot more easily. So be gentle on yourself if you keep going down the pathway that you've been doing literally since you were a little munchkin that's got like a paved road, it's got like street lights and stuff, and it's got like no traffic. It's just a pure road just for you that's so easy to go on. Be gentle on yourself if you go down that pathway a lot of the time as you're learning to go down the love pathway. Gentle. That's love, loving yourself in the process of switching over the command from these protectors inside of you because you had nothing else that you knew how to do when you were a little munchkin, but now you know you can turn to your soul self who knows the source of everything, the truth of who you are and what's good for you and all those amazing things. But this journey to go from this pathway to this pathway takes some time. And it's a lot easier to go to this other pathway. I still go down this other pathway because it's always still paved. That's the thing, it's always still paved. So this is where it becomes a choice. Can I choose in this moment to honor my highest self? Or is it just too hard right now? And I just, you know what, just even asking that question, it was a moment where maybe next time I can choose my highest self. Maybe I can choose the love pathway this time. But this time, you know what, gosh, I went to the Netflix route. That's okay. Next time, we always, which is a really wonderful thing, but also a really hard thing, we always have another opportunity to try it again the next time. Life always hands us those things, so be gentle on yourself. So notice those pathways and the choice, the fork in the road. See if you can slow it down enough so you can allow yourself a fork in the road. And I also want to, and I'll be putting out a meditation in a couple of days about love of your protectors. Love of your protectors, because we really want to send love, thank you, gratitude for their protection of you for all of these years. They've done a pretty dang good job. Like, can we just say they've done a really dang good job for what they needed to do? Like, they were like amazing at their job. Amazing. So we want to honor them. And this is something that is so key to this whole process, because if we don't love and honor and respect and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much, and gratitude for these protectors, they are not going to want to have anything to do with your soul self. They just want recognition. These parts of you want recognition, and to know that they've been valuable to you, that what they've been doing for so many years wasn't for nothing. Because just imagine how you would feel if you've been doing something for so many years and then someone was just telling you that, you know what, I just want you to actually go away and actually die off and not even be here. And you know what, everything that you've been doing for years was just a whole waste of time. Like, why did you do that? Like, you're going to be that's not going to feel so good. That's going to feel pretty hurtful. So we want to treat it's our internal system inside of here with love and compassion, even to the parts of you that are getting in the way of you right now. Because that's what they do, right? These protectors block you from you. That's the hide and seek. They hide you from you because they're seeking it elsewhere. But it's learning to take that command and loving them for the duty that they've done for you. And as they keep trying to pop in, we still love them too. So as I said before, if a part of you comes in, right, like the numb out part of you, the anger part of you, the overachiever part of you, the workaholic part of you, the whatever part of you that pops in, just say hi. Hi, it's a part of you. Hi, people pleaser. I know you really want to pop in right now, but that's not what I want to choose to do right now. And I know it really sucks because I'm feeling all these emotions right now. And I know this is usually what you protect me from feeling because I felt these in the past and this feels really shitty right now. But I know I'm going to be okay. I'm always going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to trust my soul self who knows that I'm going to be okay. So thank you people pleaser. Thank you numb out part of me. Thank you workaholic part of me. Thank you overeater part of me. Thank you for trying to jump in right now, but I got it. Rather than like, why are you here? Like, bug off. We don't want to treat those parts of ourselves like that. Okay, does that all make sense? So I'll put the homework thread out in the group so you know, but it is looking at triggers that you have, right? And looking at what part of you is trying to protect you from the feeling that gets triggered. And that trigger is happening because of the past wounds, as we talked about before, from, whatever painful experience that happened. So for me, it's back in the day, one of the big ones is when my mom and dad were yelling at each other. I very vividly can remember they're like over me yelling at each other. And that was the moment my dad walked out and my parents got divorced. So it was this abandonment feeling and I was helpless. I had no impact. Nobody was paying attention to me. Nobody was seeing me. Nobody was hearing my voice. This really plays a part into other big things. So that's what then triggers all the wounds down the line. If I never feel seen, or if I feel like somebody is abandoning me, like with my mom, who she's not happy with me right now, that gets triggered. So you notice I'm triggered right now. What part of me is in protection, trying to protect me? And if you even want to go deeper, you can say, what wound is this that my protector is trying to protect me from? Can I allow the feelings to come in? And what would my soul self say or do right now? Would my soul self say, so like today, there's another trigger that popped in today. And even though I'm teaching right here today, I'm going to honor that emotion. So I had to put on like my crown right now and help the people, help you. But I'm going to go take a bath later tonight. I'm going to listen to a meditation and I'm just going to let myself cry and let myself feel the feels that past me wouldn't have let me feel, because I know I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Really, it's letting yourself feel the feels. So doing that, and I'll be sending out a meditation in a couple of days about love to your inner protectors. And don't wait for that meditation just to send love to your protectors. You can do it right now. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for protecting me. Thank you so much for being there for me when no one else was. Thank you so much for jumping in when these emotions were so big. I didn't know what to do with them. They felt too scary, and you helped me not have to feel them for a while. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Gratitude. And I'll see you ladies tomorrow if you're able to hop on the Zoom call, and then we'll have our next lesson next week. And so yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the Q&A thread, and we'll have another Q&A in a couple weeks too, so there's always an option to ask questions. I'm sending you ladies so much love. I hope this was helpful for you today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.